5 principles to get an ex back. Welcome to my channel. My name is Alexis Friedlander. I'm a relationship counselor and my job is to help people getting answers, getting tips on how to get their ex back. The reason I'm making this video is to provide practical tips, things that you can apply today. Take a piece of paper, write down some notes. I want you to take away practical things and get into action. It's great to watch videos online, and I'm really grateful that you're watching this video and that you watch this video till the end. But what's very important to me is that you take action, that you use this knowledge to move forward. Another thing that I forgot to mention, if you like this content and want to support, don't forget to subscribe. Jingle.
IGetMyExBack.com. Everyone deserves a second chance.
So first of all, the first question you need to answer, are you flogging a dead horse? Sometimes love creates a form of delusion. And studies have shown, it's very interesting actually, that love can affect decision making. When we are in love, we are high in dopamine, we are high in other chemicals that affect our judgment. We are kind of hooked, we're kind of addicted to this drug, and when we're in love, our judgment is altered. And so that happens sometimes after a breakup, when we idealize the relationship, when we idealize the partner, when we put them on a pedestal, and the pain reinforces this idea. When there's also an element of low self-esteem, of lack of confidence, we believe we put that person on a pedestal because by contrast, this person will in a way save us. The purpose of this video is not to talk about this element. I can speak about those elements about self-esteem, self-worth in detail in other videos. Have a look if you want to see other content on that. But it's very important to understand that sometimes we are forgetting that that person is not right for us, that person hasn't been respectful or extremely constructive with us. And the best deal is sometimes to end the relationship and accept this breakup and realize that that was good. It's painful, but perhaps that's for the best. If you're not sure and want to know whether that's the right relationship, I put together a quiz in the description. You can have a look. The quiz is totally free. It gets you a score to know whether you have a chance of getting back with your ex, whether you're flogging a dead horse. Second principle is that change is not optional. It's something fundamental. People understand it, but they don't do it. The idea that your ex will never, ever get back with you if things are the same. They rejected the relationship. Perhaps they rejected you. Back to the first question. But if they only rejected the relationship, you can't sell them, you can't make them feel that they're going to start what they left. So you need to figure out right now what needs to change. What needs to change in your life, what needs to change in your communication, what needs to change in terms of the dynamic of you together, because otherwise they won't get back. So you have areas in your life that you can work on, something you need to reflect on. Maybe these are not fundamental changes, maybe they are, but it's important to understand and reflect and have sort of a plan of things that need to change, and maybe take yourself a month, all the things to change in your life. Usually we say that habits are formed. Sometimes people say 28 days. I don't know where this number came from because I read another study saying that it was more 90 days. But set yourself some plan and actions for you to really drive change in your life. Look at this breakup as an opportunity for growth, as an opportunity to become a better version of yourself. Now, what you also need to ask yourself is whether you're changing simply to get back with them and therefore becoming a person that you don't want to be, or ending up in a relationship that you don't want. And some people, they create some sort of, they flex themselves too much. They are in people-pleasing mode just for the sake of getting back with the ex, and they end up unsatisfied in a relationship that doesn't work for them. So really ensure what's best for you, what needs to happen, and what's the plan to sort of implement this change. Third principle, it takes time. I mentioned habits are formed between 28 and 90 days, depending on who you listen to. Because the thing is, this change, this plan needs a bit of time. Needs first reflection, but also needs an element of implementation. And it doesn't happen in a week. So if you guys broke up a week, 2 weeks from now, don't expect your ex to see the change, to appreciate that you're changing, right? It doesn't happen in a week. So very often what I would advise is to plan a month or two of no contact, of not getting in touch with your partner, so you have time to implement those changes. And when your ex sees you, when you guys are in touch after this phase of no contact, he or she will see the change, right? So it's very important, because there's always this conflict, this inner conflict of, if I let them go, if I don't speak with them, they'll forget me, they'll move on, they'll fall out of love, right? It's a very, very common misconception. The idea, if you had something respectful, if your ex was in love with you, and usually people are in love when they break up, they won't forget you after a month or two. Don't be scared of that. Fourth one, the principle of unconscious drivers. Unconscious mind is a topic that is really dear to my heart. And when we look at in the context of breakup, usually it's the manifestation of unconscious drivers. We think it's very rational, or your partner might think they're making a rational decision, but usually if we analyze, and I made a lot of videos about attachment style, we have very often an underlying cause based on insecurities. So it could be about attachment style, that person is avoidant and he's scared of commitment, or that person might be anxious, and he or she's very sort of demanding and wants more than you can provide to the relationship. There's also an element of self-esteem, projection, and so on and so forth. This is why sometimes, most of the time, people can't explain why they broke up. And they'll tell you, you're better than me, it's not you, it's me. And they give you some really fluffy explanations that are not necessarily helpful for you to move forward. Your job right now is to learn about your unconscious drivers. Stop asking the questions of why they took the decision to end the relationship. Understand your role. Understand what's below the surface, right? Freud had this concept of ego, superego. It's the idea of we are icebergs and there's an element underneath the water where you need to understand your subconscious mind, the drivers. This stat will blow your mind. 95% of our thoughts are unconscious. 95. And I don't remember the stat, but most of those thoughts are the same that we had yesterday. So it's really about how we can learn to click on the pause button, open the lid, explore what's inside our brain, explore insecurities, explore our belief system, how we grew up, our inner child. Do this work. That's your opportunity for you to finally learn about yourself and learn how those elements play an important part in your relationship and therefore with your ex-partner. So the process, first of all, before I move to point number 5, you're following. Right, so check whether you can get back with your ex. That's the first element. And you need to tick those boxes. Understand what needs to change. Get a proper action plan of things you need to action this change. Be really academic with that. Build up resilience and avoid rushing things. It's the element of you're not going to get back with them in a week. Otherwise, you'll be back together and you wouldn't be watching the video. Then you can start to communicate effectively. And that's a 5th principle. And before I move on to the 5th, don't forget to click like on this video and to subscribe if you find this content helpful. That does help me as well for the referencing on YouTube, and I'm really grateful for that. Effective communication is a way to convey change. It's important to change, but also conveying change. Marketing, it's in a way a marketing effort. You are building the product and now you have to sell it. So most people don't communicate properly. It's not something that we you learn at school. It's not something that you necessarily learn at university. It's not something that you learn from your parents necessarily. Because either we are confronting or we are avoiding. Either we are judging, and it's very difficult because they are linked to our insecurities. So avoidant people, they would have, for instance, a very difficult time expressing things, discussing things, while anxious people will feel judged. They would want to sort of be on the attack to confront their partner, and that would create a clash. So it's very important to understand your partner's attachment style, your attachment style, and base your communication on those aspects. If you have any question, if you want me to coach you on WhatsApp, have a look. There's a link. I think it's the only video I'm making like this, where you can book WhatsApp coaching and you get 30 days free if you are not satisfied, if you feel I'm useless. Have a look in the description of this video. There's a link to join me on WhatsApp. There are limited spaces on WhatsApp because I only have 2 hands and 24 hours in a day to look after my clients. So have a look. Hopefully there's a seat for you. Any other questions, let me know in the comment section, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye. Get up, nah, I ain't a quitter. Toss me the ball, I'm a really big hitter. Big picture, I'm a straight killer.